This is Harry Potter for Tuesday, July 16th, starting on page 306. The Hogwarts High Inquisitor. They had expected to comb Hermione's Daily Prophet carefully the next morning to find an article Percy had mentioned in the letter. However, the departing delivery owl had barely cleared the top of the milk jug when Hermione let out a huge gasp and flattened the newspaper to reveal a large photograph of Dolores Umbridge, smiling widely and blinking slowly in front of them beneath the headline. Ministry seeks educational reform. Dolores Umbridge appointed as first ever High Inquisitor. High Inquisitor, said Harry darkly, with a half-eaten bit of toast slipping between his fingers. What does that mean? Hermione read it aloud. In a surprise move last night, the Ministry of Magic passed new legislation giving itself unprecedented level of control at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The Ministry has always been growing uneasy about going-ons at Hogwarts for some time, said Junior Assistant to the Ministry Percy Weasley. He is now responding to concerns voiced by anxious parents who feel the school may be moving in a direction they do not approve. This is not the first time in recent weeks Fudge has used his new laws to effect improvements at the Wizarding School. As recently as August 30th, Educational Decree 22 was passed to ensure that in the event of current headmaster being able to provide a candidate for a teaching post, the ministry should select the appropriate person. That's how Dolores Umbridge came to be appointed to the teaching staff at Hogwarts, said Weasley last night. Dumbledore couldn't find anyone, so the minister put Umbridge in, and of course, she's been an immediate success. She's been what? Said Harry loudly. Wait, there's more, said Hermione grimly. An immediate success, totally revolutionizing the teaching of Defense Against the Dark Arts and providing the minister with the on-the-ground feedback for what's really happening at Hogwarts. It is this last function the ministry is now formalized with the passing of the Educational Decree 23, which creates a new position at the Hogwarts High Inquisitor. This is an exciting new phase in the ministry's plan to get grips on what's really they're calling a failing standard at Hogwarts, said the Weasley. The Inquisitor will have powers to inspect her fellow educators and make sure that they're coming up to scratch. Professor Umbridge has been offered this position in addition to her own teaching post, and we are delighted to say she has accepted. The ministry now moves to receive enthusiastic support from the parents of students of Hogwarts. I feel much easier in my mind now that I know Dumbledore is being subjected to fair and object evaluation, said Mr. Lucius Malfoy, 41, speaking from his own Wiltshire mansion last night. Many of us with our children's best interest at heart, have been concerned about some of Dumbledore's eccentric decisions the last few years, and I'll be glad to know that the Ministry is keeping an eye on the situation. Among these eccentric decisions are undoubtedly the control of controversial staff appointments previously described in the newspaper, which have included the hiring of werewolf Remus Lupin, half-giant Rubeus Hagrid, and delusional ex-Auror Mad-Eye Moody. Rumors abound, of course, that Albus Dumbledore, once supreme mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards and chief warlock of the Wizengamot, is no longer up to the task of managing the prestigious school of Hogwarts. I think the appointment of the Inquisitor is a first step towards ensuring that Hogwarts is a headmaster in whom we can all repose confidence, said a minister last night. Wizengamot elders Griselda Marchbanks and Tiberius Ogden have resigned in protest at the introduction of the post of Inquisitor at Hogwarts. Hogwarts is a school, not an outpost of Cornelius Fudge's office, said Madame Marchbanks. This is a further disgusting attempt to discredit Albus Dumbledore. For a full account of Madame Marchbanks' alleged links to subversive goblin groups, turn to page 17. Hermione finished reading and looked across the table at the other two. So now we know how we ended up with Umbridge. Fudge passed this educational decree and forced her on us. And now he's given her the power to inspect other teachers? Hermione was breathing fast and her eyes were very bright. I can't believe this. This is outrageous. I know it is, said Harry. He looked down at his right hand, clenched the tabletop, and saw the faint white line of the words Umbridge had forced him to cut into his skin. But a grin was unfurling on Ron's face. What? Said Harry and Hermione together, staring at him. Oh, I can't wait to see McGonagall inspected, said Ron happily. Umbridge won't know what's hit her. Well, come on, said Hermione, jumping up. We better get going. If she's inspecting Ben's class, we don't want to be late. But Professor Umbridge was not inspecting History of Magic lesson, which was just as dull as the previous Monday, nor was she in Snape's dungeon when they arrived for double potions, where Harry's Moonstone essay had been handed back to him with a large, spiky, black D scrawled across the upper corner. I've awarded you grades which you received if you presented this work for your owl, said Snape with a smirk, as he swept among them, passing back their homework. They should give you a realistic idea of what to expect in your examination. Snape reached the front of the class and turned to face them. The general standard for this homework is abysmal. Most of you would have failed had this been your examination. I expect to see a great deal more effort on this week's essay on various varieties of venom antidotes, or I shall start handing out detentions to those dunces who get D's. He smirked as Malfoy laughed and said in a carrying whisper, "Some people got D's? Ha!" Harry realized Hermione was looking sideways to see what grade he had received. He slid his Moonstone essay back into his bag as quickly as possible, feeling that he would rather keep that information private. Determined not to give Snape an excuse to fail him on this lesson, Harry read and reread every line of the instructions on the blackboard at least 3 times before acting on them. His strengthening solution was not precisely the clear turquoise shade of Hermione's, but it was at least blue rather than pink like Neville's, and he delivered a flask of it to Snape's desk at the end of the lesson, with feeling of mingled defiance and relief. "Well, that wasn't as bad as last week, was it?" said Hermione. They climbed up the steps of the dungeon and made their way across the entrance hall towards lunch. "And the homework didn't go too bad easily either, did it?" "Night, buddy. I love you."